want to share the screen, or I can, whatever you want to do, and then
you're gonna have to. Like I said, I tried to use my laptop at the same time, and that did not go well.
Well, now that Chuck is here, you see Aaron.
What's going on?
Now that Chuck is here, I can leave.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be here for the next 2 hours. So
yeah.
Nice.
Wait, I don't think they're on together. Are you on together? Let's see.
Let's hope not.
No. You're with Tier, maybe Matt if he shows up, and Kat. So
okay.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know if you saw. I took the schedule and I posted that and pinned it on the top of the page.
Facebook page.
Facebook, yeah, because I don't know if you posted it or not, but I couldn't find it. The only one I found was KP's from yesterday. He shared it, so that's the one I kept going to. So I went into Canva, printed the whole thing, and now it's in there, so you can look at it.
So first off, every little bit of money that you guys spend towards getting your Essence House book today will be money that Kyron could have made had he shown up for his fucking session like a real man. So I want you guys to come out to Essence House and let's really build that one up, not because you want the book, not because it's an excellent story, not because Eric and I have told a really good story, but simply out of spite, because Kyron couldn't show up for his fucking session when he was supposed to, so that I can say to him, hey, look, we made X amount of money because you're a moron. And I love my brother Kyron very much, but anytime I can stick it to him, I want to stick it to him. So, guys, this is literally a Kickstarter of spite for this next hour. So, come on out. Come on out. Spend your money in spite. You're going to love it. And I want to be able to then tell him, hey, man, over this hour, Essence House made this much money because you couldn't fucking show up. So,
quick, beat him while he's down.
Yeah, right? So please, everyone, go to Kickstarter right now. Check out Essence House. I really do believe you guys would love it. Eric and I just did this great thing last night. We listened to the last 2 chapters of Essence House. We read them to each other. And then we basically brutally edited them, went over them. What do we need to fix? Stop here. Why the hell did you say that? Let's change that. We haven't done that with any of the other chapters before that. And it was really good. And I feel really good about those last 2 chapters. And I mean, it's so exciting because you don't get to do this in comics. You don't get to have 20 issues in comics in a year. It doesn't happen. So to be able to do that and get all that out there is just so huge to us and has been so exciting. And of course, at the end of the day, we're going to have this beautiful novel that I'm just absolutely over the moon about. Thanks, man.
I just put it in the comments too so people can click on the Kickstarter. There's 54 hours left. Run!
Welcome to the Kickstarter Spite panel. Oh, that's great. Yes.
Now your mom can
seriously, guys, if you're not interested in the story, but you wanna fuck somebody, this is it, man. Hit this one right now. Every dollar is a kick in his ass.
Bookmark. An animal pin.
Yeah. We have the bookmark. We have the enamel pin. The other thing that we don't have up there and haven't shown off is the stretch goal, which we did hit. We hit our $2,500 stretch goal, and so that is a sticker. Unless you've kept up with the drama, you might not understand, but there's a very weird out-of-body sequence in episode 10 or chapter 10 of the book where our main character basically ends up being stuck out of time. Sorry, it's chapter 11. And he's stuck out of time in a wine cellar. And so effectively, tell him about the Christmas story. Oh, I will tell him about the Christmas story. Thank you, baby. Good call. He's stuck out of time in a wine cellar. And so the only thing he can subsist on is alcohol. and it's this very messed up, really trippy situation where all he can do is drink wine and sit there and subsist and barely live. And he ends up every moment of his day, he's drunk and depressed and in this terrible spot. And he ends up talking to the corpse of his dead uncle and a spider. And the spider says nothing to him the whole time until the very end. Every day he's like, today's the day. I'm going to be able to leave here. And he'll open the door and he can't leave. And finally, at some point, he's sitting there all sad, and the spider just looks at him and he goes, today's the day, asshole. And it's just such a funny, messed up moment. And so we made a today's the day, asshole sticker. And so everybody who buys a physical copy will get that sticker.
I understood the reference after I listened to that, because Eric said that on like a live stream that you did or whatever, like a live video that you did, the aftermath of one of those chapters. And I was like, why did he just call me an asshole? And then I like listened to it. I was like, oh, okay.
It's weird because it's not an Essence House thing necessarily. And then when you get to the point, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
but
what you doing after Essence House is like all over with, besides, promoting it.
Taking over the world.
Yeah, right. So the funny thing is that we've already started working on season 3, so we're moving on to the next book.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I had told I was very adamant, no, we're gonna slow down. We're not gonna do this. And here's the chain events. We were gonna do 1 and 2, and we were gonna chill the hell out because we basically, while doing our other work and just fucking surviving 2020, we were able to make a novel. And the idea of having to do that again was a lot.
You just got a bastard.
Mary Spiteness.
Aaron, you're the best. Oh, so we're up $10. Oh, that's $10 that Kyron can take and shove it. I love you. Thank you, Aaron. You're the man. That's hilarious. This is so funny. Spite is the funniest thing. So with season 3, I was like, yeah, let's maybe take half a year off or do something. And Eric was like, we should really try to, go with the flow and really kind of try to keep up with this because spiteness, that's great. Really try to, keep up with this. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. We both kind of need some, just some rest and whatnot. And the more we thought about it, these neat ideas started coming up for season 3. I'm like, oh crap. Maybe we'll do it. And then we were like, yeah, okay, we're going to do it. Maybe we'll give ourselves some more time. And then recently, instead of working on the last episode 20, Eric decided, okay, I really want to break off the rust. I'm going to do a Christmas story, an Essence House Christmas story. And so he did that. And it's very much removed from the house and the main characters. It's more playing with the mythology of the Essence itself. And he did this, and he sent it to me, and I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, I have some neat little things that we could play with it. And when I read it, my brain immediately went to season 3, and I started spouting some shit off to him, and the book was done. Like the second book, the plot, the idea of it, like we had this long jam session, and suddenly we knew the main outline and the main beats of that entire book. We were like, oh crap, now we really have to do this. So it's looking like March we'll come back. So in December, the last episode will air. We'll play a little bit. We'll have the Christmas episode probably come out too in that time. And then we're going to move on, and we're going to get us into season 3, and we're going to start right back into it again and make the next novel for 2021 and see what that turns into. So it's not done. We're continuing on. Very excited. And we recently revealed on our after show the name of the next book, and it's called Children of the Essence.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which doesn't give an awful lot away, but it's something.
That's a crazy audio drama, though. I haven't listened to the last.
Thank you.
Two,
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't listened to the last 2 episodes. I don't think, but yeah.
Oh, so you're up to like episode 16, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yep. I don't remember, but yeah, I know. Like you released 2, I think, and I haven't been able to like just listen to those because it's just either.
But you're enjoying it?
Yeah. I like binged it. I binged it.
Yes, that was hilarious. Like, you're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Because I have to figure out when to listen to it. Because the only time to listen to it, like for me, is when I'm driving to work or, and I can't listen to it if I want to listen to Beards and Comics podcast. So
it's tough, man. And that's really tough, man. And they do a really good show over there. Not near enough Spite, I would say, but still a really good show. Good people.
Yeah.
See what I did today?
What'd you do today?
I went into our Facebook page because Facebook decided to like completely destroy how shops work on there now. And I had to delete 1,600 items manually. And
not that trying to set up and work on your own online con wasn't enough fucking work. I'm gonna manually delete 1,600 items from my holy shit.
So I deleted all those, and now it turns out our catalog is so big. For the last hour, I've been importing the ones from because like I have our website linked to what's now called the catalog manager in Facebook. It's a whole separate thing now. And so like it used to just be linked directly to the shop. I have to link it to a catalog, then link the catalog to the shop. And then that catalog can be linked to Facebook or Instagram or both. So I'm like trying to get this thing set up. It's been importing for the last like hour because we have like so many. What are the challenges of taking a podcast and turning it into a novel? Hey, you wait your turn, MJ. I'm complaining about this shop. I
will answer that question. Let him bitch, and then we'll talk about that. That's a very good question.
It is a very good question. But yes. Yeah, no, it's been importing forever. So much, it's taking so long that like the website still doesn't think it's connected to Facebook, but Facebook is still importing the data from it. Like it's just like, yeah. Anyways, back to podcast. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. No. That was on brand because this is Spite-Miss. So there was a lot of spite and anger in that, and I can feel the hate in you. So that was very important. Good for you, Dylan. This is our venting session. This is where we get to talk a little bit of shit, have some fun. MJ, really good question. So what I would say is that for the audio podcast and then turning it into a novel, with the audio podcast, we were sort of trapped in our own standard. We wanted it to be 20 minutes long, right around there. So we did, each chapter was between 3,000 and 3,500 words. And so that meant that there was some things that we had to trim down and keep out, even though we would have preferred to have them in. And there was a lot of things that we didn't push as hard, a lot of detail. Like you don't want to go really detail oriented on a podcast, because like, talk and explain a room for 10 minutes, because that gives people a really quick chance to just zone out. So it really was it really is trying to keep people in the moment, and the dialogue helps a lot with that. So it ends up being a lot more dialogue heavy. So when we then got to finish that up and start working on the actual novel, we get to flesh out a lot of those scenes. It also gives us a chance to kind of, because we're doing them one episode at a time, it gives us a chance to maybe correct some things that we feel like could have been done a little bit better. and really kind of still stick to the main narrative and the overall feel and idea of the story, while also having the chance to make it even better than it already was. So this was a really good opportunity there.
Do you remove a lot of the because you said that it's mainly conversational, like the podcast is like people talking because it's like you're there, but like do you remove some of that dialogue for the book, or do you just put more description of this, like the surroundings and like?
Well, there's sounds, like soundscape stuff. So
I'm saying, but like you're saying, it's dialogue heavy. Like, do you remove any dialogue for the novel, or do you keep it all?
No. I mean, it's dialogue heavy because there's a lot less descriptive notes and whatnot. So by adding that in, it doesn't feel as dialogue heavy because you've now added a lot more of that fat and a lot more of that musculature and whatnot. Yeah. So now you'll have a better idea of what things look like, what things, especially, and you touched on it there, Greg, sound like. Because we have a sound engineer who's going to come in and make sounds, we didn't have to tell you that it was a haunting noise. We didn't have to go into the cool science fiction-y sounds so much because Eric did such a fucking good job of making those noises. Describing them just seemed moot. You know what I mean? Like, why would I describe something when you hear it and you go, oh, I feel that? Describing it is a waste of time. So now we have to go in and we have to describe these neat science fiction-y noises and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's an awful lot to kind of add, flesh out, play with. It was, and it's what we were talking about with what's his name, Frank?
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy who was just on a second ago.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah. So, yeah. So what we were talking about with him, where it's like it's the idea of taking the floppy, turning it into a trade, turning it into a graphic novel. It's the same sort of idea where we're taking the audio drama, we're turning it into a novel, and to kind of get people excited and sort of flesh it out and make it feel like you're still giving them the same thing, but it's a new experience. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you were part of 7 other 1,000 projects this year.
I was a part of an awful lot of other projects, yes.
Yeah. One was Cthulhu Invades Oz that funded, which like I didn't think it wasn't gonna fund, but I was like actually getting nervous because I actually wanted it. So I was like, is this gonna fund? And then it got $24,000 something, I think. And you and
I it's so funny.
Oh, go.
Oh, go ahead.
I think there's like a slight delay. So like what happens is he thinks you're done, and then he talks, and then he catches the second wind talk.
Stupid virtual Comic-Cons.
How dare we have high-speed, random video and audio sent into outer space and transmitted across the globe at such slow speeds?
What was I saying? Something about that. Oh, yeah, you did a story with
$24,000.
Yeah, you did a story with our boy that was supposed to be here. But
who?
Kyron.
Who?
Didn't you do one with him? Didn't you do a story with?
Yeah, who? I did. Kyron was the artist. You know, the guy that we have currently spited. Oh. He was the artist. And it was him and Alan Ellsworth was the colorist. And what was cool about working with them was that all of us are kind of in this tier of indies where it's like we've done stuff, so we're out there, but we're not in that upper echelon of a lot of the guys who were also on the book, guys like Russell Nolte and Kurt Belcher and all these guys who have, gotten into Diamond and worked for some major companies and all that sort of stuff. And so one thing that, that our team kind of talked about and decided was we're going to work to that caliber. We want people to read our story and say, oh, it belongs in here along with the rest of these guys. We wanted to really turn heads and have people go, whoa, who are these guys? Like, why have we not heard of them if they haven't, you know? And I mean, like, because like someone like me, I know that, you know, people will make the joke and they'll say Chuck's everywhere, but I'm everywhere as an editor. You guys don't get to see me as a writer as often. And so it was very important to me that I made that step, that when I wrote that, people would be like, oh shit, yeah, no, he can write too. Like, he's not just there to point people in a direction. He can do it too. And I think that's something that I always take it very seriously when I write, because I always worry, and I feel like playing off of your own anxiety can actually help you an awful lot. It can be very healthy in what you do, because I always am under the assumption, if I write a shitty book or a shitty story, someone's going to look at that and go, how dare he try to edit me when he writes shit like that? And so by thinking like that and sort of considering it in that manner, I can then hopefully like push myself to another level. And so that's kind of what the team did, is we all kind of went, hey, we want to really surprise people with this this Scarecrow take. And I mean, everyone did. Kyron, he drew the best he's probably ever done. His shit was phenomenal, and he laid in so many cool Easter eggs. Like, we ended up effectively killing Travis's characters from Broke Down. He drew them in, and then we killed them off. Like, we did. Yeah, it was great. Eric was in there. Eric from Essence House, killed him off too. Like, so many people were in there, and we offed and had fun with. And then Alan Ellsworth got a hold of it. And what's neat is we take Scarecrow from Oz to Earth and then back again. And so what he did to really change with that and play with it was, when we went to Earth, he made it black and white, like the movie. And that was his nod to the movie. And it was so good, and it was really well done. And even the black and white, it still had this like grainy sort of old film texture to it. And he just, like, everybody brought out their A game. So I'm very proud of that story. And I feel like if it's not a standout story, it speaks to the caliber of all of the other work in there. And at least that means that there was a bar and we all reached for it. We all tried to get there. Yeah. And so, I think that I'm really proud of it. I think I really am excited for people to pick up that book and see it and talk about it.
What's your favorite step in like comic creation? Like getting like a page back or something? Like coloring? Our colorist saved our first issue of the Seer Chronicles, I think.
Right? I mean, your colorist is great. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know it sounds so lame, but like every step along the way is this wonderful feeling of, ooh, this is actually going to happen. Like, you know, you write a script and you're like, oh, that script's done, and you get it edited and you're like, ooh, I'm very proud of this. This is going to happen. But then it could just lay there. And then you start to get pages in. And you're like, oh, shit, those pages that's bomb, man. This is actually going to happen. But you could, fuck it, you could just let those, and then, like, inks start to come in. And colors start to come in. And, like, if your team is working on, you know, everyone's pistons are flying and everything's happening, that story gets better and better and better. And so all of that really is huge. I love anything that allows you to kind of create a momentum and an excitement for a project. I even know, like, currently I'm working with an old friend of mine, and she's creating a novel. And so we do these things where we'll sit around for an hour and we're working on her outline. And because it's a novel, it's a lot. And so it's a lot of story pitching and idea pitching, and how do we make this idea work, or is this an idea that we could wedge in somewhere, or make it so that it fundamentally works. And I love when those gears start to snap together and everything starts to really happen. Yeah. Absolutely, Wendy. But when you then see that page colored, that's going to be huge, and that's going to be the biggest thing. And then when you see your words in bubbles over your characters' heads, that's going to be the thing, because those are literally your words, and that's the point where your stamp is on there. The letterer really is, for the writer, I think they're almost the most important part for the writer, because they're that stamp that says, I fucking did that. Those are my words. That's me. And so much of that, of the art and everything else, people can give to the artist and sort of say that's all them. When in fact, we're an integral part of that. We are what inspired the images and the story pacing and all that kind of stuff. But it's so easy to remove us. But as soon as those letters get on there, that's you, man. You did that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, honestly, I like each of the steps, for their own uniqueness, because like Greg writes a story and then I go through and murder it so that it's like, right? So like that part's fun, and then when I read through it, like even that initial phase of reading through the edit, like is fantastic. Like, oh wow, this feels like a story now, right? And then once we get that, even the roughs, like the super roughs we get before the artist draws the panels, I can envision what they're going to do, and I'm like, oh, like I can see how this is the scene that we wrote out. And then like once the art comes in, and we're like, oh my god, look at the character's face. Now we know what he looks like, right? Like look in that scene, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's great. Then the inks make it look like it's a comic, right? Because the pencils don't look like a comic. It looks like artwork. The ink is like that first step where you're like, this is a comic. And then the colors come in and you're like, the shading, the lighting, like what's going on? Mm-hmm. And then even the lettering, like I remember for ink, when we first got ink, that nightmare scene was amazing. And then it got colored and you're just like, holy crap. Like, and then finally, like as we got the, what's it called? The narration blocks. Like the narration block, the lettering, like I wrote out, like I remember writing out the narration, like because Greg and I like sat down and like broke it apart. We're like, here's what he's thinking the whole time, and all of a sudden, like just like the simple little design that he did, I'm like, this looks like a real comic now. Like it's like amazing. So it's definitely, I think that each phase I like because of what it does. Like again, the art, the initial stenciling looks like great artwork. Your thing has come to life, but the inking turns it into a comic. The coloring brings it to life, and the lettering makes it official. Like it's like, it's cool for each of its own steps.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.